Hi there, Mike McArthur from the Oshkosh Public Library here with another serving of Librarian Learns. This is the series where I take a look at some local Oshkosh history that I've looked about and questioned why. What happened there? What's that about? So today, I'm going to be taking a look at one of the most controversial topics in Oshkosh history, Kentucky Fried Chicken. So as anyone who is new to the city can attest, there seems to be a big inside joke about KFC in Oshkosh. I myself had the same question when I moved here in 2012, and I kept wondering, what's the deal with KFC? Why are people so passionate about this? Why does it make people want to strangle each other online when it is mentioned? So let's take a look at the twisty history of KFC in Oshkosh. So the first KFC opened in Oshkosh in 1967 at 900 North Main. Managed by Mike Tuing, it was one of nearly 2,000 locations around the country at the time. Boasting about instant service, it served up the classic boxes, buckets, and barrels of Kentucky Fried Chicken with sides of mashed potatoes, baked beans, coleslaw, etc. Apparently, it was a big hit from the get-go, so much so that Tuing opened a second shop right next door, although this time it was the short-lived Kentucky Beef restaurant. It never really took off the way the fried chicken restaurants did, and it was out of business pretty quickly. Today, the building where it stood still exists and is Pelora's Cafe. But the fried chicken fast food business continued to boom well into the early 1970s. Tuing had opened a second KFC location at 1785 West 9th Street. And in 1973, Mr. and Mrs. Tuing were honored by the Colonel himself for the contributions to the development of KFC. So that original location at 900 North Main closed in 1986. Today it is a Dr. Benzie's. But a third location was opened at the corner of Jackson and Murdoch. That opened in 1988. That original second location on 9th and Keller ended up closing in 1992, leaving the Jackson Murdoch KFC to be the sole KFC in the city. So, from my experience and research, I don't think it's all about the KFC chicken, though I know that people go crazy for their chicken and some people really love it. I also meet as many people who say they can't stand Kentucky Fried Chicken. But I think the real reason that KFC became such a touchy issue in Oshkosh is because its demise was brought about by the advent of the roundabout. And boy, do people have feelings about roundabouts. Though I'm sure conversations between the city and the Department of Transportation began earlier, it was really in 2007 that everyone found out two things. One, a roundabout was coming to the the intersection at Murdoch and Jackson. And two, the city's last KFC was going to be purchased and demolished to make way for said roundabout. So roundabouts have been around in northeastern Wisconsin since about 1999. And although there's lots of research out there showing that they are safer, they are cheaper in the long run, and they manage traffic better, there was still a lot of pushback and apprehension about a roundabout when the Jackson Murdoch roundabout was announced. A lot of it is very much the same negative feedback and pushback they got in Green Bay when they opened their first one. They are unsafe, they are confusing, they're hard for, trucks and semi-trailers to navigate. They're dangerous for, pedestrians and cyclists. What is also important to remember about the situation is that the Jackson area had undergone another massive transportation project not too long ago. In 2001, Jackson Street from about Church to Murdoch was expanded from 2 lanes to 4 and the speed limit raised from 25 to 30. This was met with, let's say, mixed feelings at best from the community, particularly if you happen to live on Jackson Street. So, fast forward, it is now 2007, and you have another big transportation project seemingly appeared out of nowhere. From the perspective of the community, it seems like it's forced upon them without any input from them. And it's going to take away the last KFC in the city? Disappointed! So, reading through the op-ed sections at the time, people did not seem real thrilled with the idea of a roundabout going in Oshkosh, particularly since this was going to be just the first of many roundabouts going in the city in the next couple of years. The strongest and most consistent pushback came from Councilman Paul Esslinger, who over and over again questioned the need for the roundabout, the costs, and really summed up the opposition by saying why we'd pay for an intersection for people who don't want roundabouts to begin with. But despite, some pretty loud negative feedback, it does seem like the plan moved through the Plan Commission and the Common Council pretty smoothly. And on March 2nd, 2009, the city and Wisconsin Department of Transportation officially purchased the KFC on the corner of Jackson and Murdoch. It remained open for a little while longer, but that was really the beginning of the end of the Kernel in Oshkosh. The roundabout opened for traffic June 2010 and was quickly followed by nearly a dozen roundabouts going across Highway 41, which had also been expanded. So now you could go through multiple roundabouts as you cross 41 at either Oshkosh Ave, Witzel, and 9th Avenue. And so that's a lot of change very quickly. There was a steep learning curve for the roundabouts, and even though the city and Department of Transportation put out a lot of information about how to navigate these new roadways, they did see, as expected, an increase in collisions and accidents in the months that followed their openings. But this initial spike in collisions, by and large, abated in the following years. Today there are plenty of drivers who are still annoyed by these roundabouts. In truth, they're probably annoyed with their fellow drivers more than the roundabouts themselves. But as someone who drives through nearly a dozen of these things a day, they do improve traffic flow and have been shown to, most importantly, save lives. From the beginning, the franchise owners at KFC seemed hopeful that they would be able to find a new location inside the city. They came close to securing a lot on 9th Avenue until some community pushback kind of nixed that deal. And then after that, it seemed like everyone was on KFC watch. Anytime any construction was happening on any lot anywhere, it was joked, must be a KFC. Think they're putting a KFC in there? They should put a KFC in there. Oh Lord, why are they not building a KFC there? According to a front page article in the Northwestern in 2015, H&K Partners, the Milwaukee company that owned the franchise rights in Oshkosh, were still looking for a suitable location. Here it is at the time of this recording, 2022, and we are still without the Colonel's special mix of herbs and spices. So I'm in front of Dr. Benzie's, which was the first location that went up, KFC location that went up in 1967. So for all the hubbub, it doesn't seem like KFC is the third rail that it used to be in online conversations. Maybe because it's been gone for so long. Maybe because people got used to the roundabouts finally after 10 years. Maybe because there are other chicken places that have opened in town in recent years. Or maybe we just all found other things to be angry about. So hey, I learned something. If you want to see more of these videos, let me know in the comments below of wherever you're watching this, or contact me at the library using the links in the description. And with that, I will see you later.